Okay, let's delve into the astrological picture shaping up for Pisces in the financial sphere, starting June 17, 2025. Three giant planets play a key role here: Jupiter, Neptune, and Saturn. Jupiter, traditionally associated with luck and expansion, exerts a powerful, beneficial influence on your financial prospects. Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, adds an element of intuition and the possibility of income from unexpected sources. And finally, Saturn, the planet of structure and responsibility, provides the necessary stability and long-term planning so you can manage the opportunities that open up wisely. It is this combination of planets that forms a unique astrological background, literally pointing to the specific opportunities that will open up for you. This is a time when the universe seems to be whispering new paths to prosperity to you. However, for the full picture, we must consider another important factor affecting your career and, as a result, your financial situation. So, we have found that the celestial bodies are preparing Pisces for a period of significant financial opportunities, starting in mid-2025. But let's consider one of the key factors of this favorable forecast in more detail: the transit of Jupiter through the sign of Taurus. This aspect is directly related to your career sector and professional fulfillment. Jupiter, the planet of luck, expansion, and opportunity, entering the sign of Taurus, activates your third house of the horoscope, which is responsible for communication, learning, and, most importantly, your immediate working environment. This means that from June 17, 2025, doors will open for you for professional growth, skills development, and, as a result, increased income. Imagine the situation: your ability to clearly and convincingly state your ideas, negotiation skills, and the ability to find common ground with colleagues and management will reach a completely new level. This is a favorable time to present new projects, look for new opportunities within the company, and even change jobs if you feel that your current position does not allow you to fully realize your potential. To make the most of this period, I recommend that you actively develop your professional skills. Consider taking refresher courses and participating in conferences and seminars that will help you stay abreast of the latest trends in your industry. Don't hesitate to share your knowledge and experience with colleagues. This will strengthen your reputation as a valuable specialist and open up new opportunities for collaboration. In addition, Jupiter in Taurus favors establishing connections and expanding your circle of professional contacts. Actively participate in networking events, attend professional communities, and use social media to establish new contacts. Remember that sometimes the most unexpected opportunity can come from someone you just met. Don't miss the opportunity to showcase your achievements and merits. Prepare a compelling resume that reflects your key skills and work results. Be prepared to talk about your successes in interviews or when discussing a salary increase. Self-confidence and the ability to present yourself in a favorable light will play an important role in achieving your goals. This transit of Jupiter is your chance to assert yourself, gain recognition, and, of course, improve your financial situation. However, in addition to external factors, there is another powerful tool that Pisces can use to achieve financial well-being. A tool that is inside you and connected with your unique ability to feel and foresee. Pisces, as you know, have a unique connection with the world of intuition, and Neptune, often present in your sign, actively helps them in this. In the period starting June 17, 2025, this innate ability will become your powerful asset in the field of finance. It is important to learn to listen to your inner voice, because it can tell you the most profitable solutions. Do not neglect sudden insights or premonitions regarding investments, career opportunities, or even participation in lotteries. Remember that intuition is not just a coincidence, but the result of subconscious processing of a huge amount of information. Develop it. Practice mindfulness and observation. There are various exercises that help enhance intuitive perception. For example, try meditating, focusing on questions related to your financial well-being. Visualize positive results, imagine yourself successful and prosperous. Keep a diary, write down your dreams and premonitions, analyze them, and you will see how gradually your intuition becomes clearer and more reliable. Another useful tool is so-called intuitive writing. Just take a pen and paper and start writing without thinking about grammar or logic. Allow your thoughts to flow freely onto paper, and you will be surprised at what valuable ideas and tips can come in this way. Trust your feelings when making financial decisions. If an offer seems too good to be true, it probably is. If you feel an inner urge to take a certain action, do not ignore it, even if it seems risky at first glance. Remember that intuition is not a substitute for rational analysis, but a valuable addition to it. Use it in combination with common sense and professional advice to make balanced and informed decisions. However, relying only on intuition is not enough. There is another important factor that will have a significant impact on your financial situation during this period. Now let's take a closer look at the influence of Saturn in the sign of Aries on your financial sphere, dear Pisces. This transit, starting in mid-2025, will bring with it the need for a structured approach to managing your finances. Forget about spontaneous spending and rash decisions. Saturn in Aries requires discipline, clear planning, and consistency. Imagine Saturn as a strict but fair teacher who insists that you finally take control of your cash flow. This period is ideal for creating a detailed budget. Analyze your income and expenses, identify areas where you can cut costs, and set goals for savings and investments. Don't be afraid to use modern tools for budgeting, smartphone apps, spreadsheets, or even a good old notebook. The main thing is that you have a clear picture of where your money is going. As for investments, Saturn in Aries does not encourage impulsive risks. On the contrary, it favors conservative and well-thought-out strategies. Consider investing in stable assets, such as real estate or securities of reliable companies. Do thorough research before making any decisions, and don't be afraid to seek advice from financial advisors. Remember that Saturn is a planet of long-term perspective. It does not promise instant enrichment, but it guarantees steady growth and financial security if you show patience and consistency. Take this period as an opportunity to lay a solid foundation for your financial future. Develop the habit of setting aside a portion of your income, even if it is small amounts. Over time, these savings will turn into significant capital. Managing finances under the influence of Saturn in Aries is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't expect quick results, but be sure that your efforts will not be in vain. Over time, you will feel more confident and calm financially. However, in addition to the influence of Saturn, there are other planetary aspects that can play an important role in your financial success during this period. An additional factor strengthening the favorable financial forecast for Pisces, starting in mid-June 2025, is the harmonious interaction of Venus and Mars. These planets, traditionally associated with profit and activity, form aspects that open up interesting opportunities for profitable investments and, importantly, for moderate financial risks. Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, and, of course, finance, will be in a favorable position during this period, which makes its influence especially noticeable. This time is favorable for investments in art objects, jewelry, as well as in projects related to beauty and aesthetics. If you have long thought about acquiring a valuable item or investing in a promising art startup, now is the time to carefully study the market and make an informed decision. Mars, the planet of action and energy, also plays an important role in shaping a favorable financial climate. Its active position encourages decisive action and bold decisions. However, it is important to maintain balance here and not succumb to excessive impulsiveness. Before making a large investment or entering into a risky transaction, it is necessary to carefully analyze all possible scenarios and calculate potential risks. Determining the optimal time for investments during this period is a task that requires an individual approach and consideration of your personal horoscope. However, general recommendations boil down to paying attention to periods when Venus and Mars form harmonious aspects with Jupiter, Neptune, and Saturn, which are already creating a favorable background. Astrological calendars and consultations with professional astrologers will help you accurately determine the most successful days and hours for making financial transactions. As for the choice of assets, it is also necessary to take into account your personal preferences and inclinations. However, in general, it is recommended to pay attention to the following areas: investments in technology startups, especially those related to artificial intelligence and innovative developments, investments in real estate, especially in promising areas with developing infrastructure, as well as investments in education and professional development, which will allow you to expand your professional opportunities and increase your income in the long term. Don't forget about the importance of diversifying your investment portfolio. You should not invest all your funds in one asset, no matter how promising it may seem. Divide your investments between different directions to reduce risks and increase your chances of receiving a stable income. Intuition, enhanced by the influence of Neptune, will certainly help you in making the right decisions, but you should not rely only on it. Careful analysis and a balanced approach are your main allies on the path to financial success. In addition to the influence of planets, there are other astrological factors that can have a significant impact on your financial well-being. Dear Pisces, we continue our in-depth astrological analysis of the favorable financial period opening for you from June 17, 2025. We have already considered the influence of the transits of Jupiter, Neptune, and Saturn, as well as the harmonious interaction of Venus and Mars on your financial sphere. Now, let's pay attention to the most important aspect, often overlooked, but having a colossal impact on cash flows, lunar cycles. The Moon, as the celestial body closest to Earth, has a powerful impact on all living organisms and, of course, on our subconscious, emotions, and, as a result, on making financial decisions. For Pisces, a sign of the water element, this connection is especially strong. It is important to understand that different phases of the Moon activate different areas of your psyche, which must be taken into account when planning any financial transactions. Let's start with the new moon. This period symbolizes the beginning of a new cycle, a time for setting goals and planning. In financial terms, the new moon is favorable for developing new strategies, analyzing the current state of affairs, and getting rid of everything that hinders your development. You should not invest large sums or make risky decisions during this period. It is better to focus on preparing the ground for future successes. The waxing moon is a time for active actions and implementation of the intended plans. This is a favorable period for purchases, especially those related to improving your comfort and well-being. Investments made on the waxing moon are more likely to bring profit in the long term. However, be careful and do not succumb to impulsive purchases. Carefully weigh all the pros and cons. The full moon is a period of emotional uplift and increased sensitivity. In financial terms, this is a time when you should be especially careful. There is a high probability of making rash decisions under the influence of emotions. Try to avoid large transactions and investments during this period. It is better to devote time to analyzing your financial results and adjusting your strategy, if necessary. The waning moon is a time for completing tasks and getting rid of everything unnecessary. This is a favorable period for paying off debts, selling assets, and auditing your finances. Get rid of everything that brings losses or does not meet your goals. This is also a good time for charity and helping those in need, which, oddly enough, helps improve your financial situation. When planning financial transactions in June 2025, consider the phases of the moon and their impact on your emotional state. Create a lunar calendar and check it before making important decisions. Remember that intuition, enhanced by the influence of Neptune, is your strong ally, but it must be supported by common sense and analysis. In addition to general recommendations, it is important to take into account the individual position of the moon in your personal horoscope. This will allow you to more accurately determine favorable and unfavorable periods for financial transactions. But that's not all. There is another, no less intriguing aspect, associated with the possibility of unexpected enrichment. Pisces, let's talk about another exciting opportunity that June 2025 opens up for you, the possibility of winning the lottery. Of course, you should not rely solely on luck, but astrological aspects indicate that during this period your intuition and connection with the energy of the universe will be especially strong, which may contribute to a favorable outcome in gambling. First of all, you should pay attention to the position of Neptune, your ruler. In June 2025, it will be in harmonious aspect to other planets, which will enhance your insight and ability to foresee winning combinations. In addition, Jupiter, the planet of luck and prosperity, will have a positive impact on your financial sector, which also increases the chances of success. How to make the most of this favorable time? First of all, trust your intuition when choosing numbers. You may dream of certain numbers, or you will see them in unexpected places. Pay attention to recurring numbers in your life, the dates of birth of loved ones, or other symbols that are significant to you. As for the time for participating in the lottery, the most favorable will be the days when the moon is in the signs of water, Cancer, Scorpio, or, of course, Pisces. These periods enhance your emotional connection with the universe and increase the likelihood of attracting luck. You should also pay attention to the days when Venus, the planet of love and beauty, is in harmonious aspect to Jupiter or Neptune. However, remember about moderation. Gambling should be enjoyable, not a way to solve financial problems. Set a limit for yourself on the amount you are willing to spend, and do not exceed it. Consider participating in the lottery as entertainment, not as a guaranteed way to get rich. In addition to the lottery, there are other, no less interesting ways to increase your wealth, which will also be available to you during this period. One of them is related to an unexpected replenishment of the budget, which we will talk about a little later. Regarding the possibility of receiving an inheritance from distant relatives, here we see a very interesting astrological picture developing in the period after June 17, 2025. The influence of planets during this period can create unique circumstances in which connections with family members, whom you may not even have known or with whom you have long lost contact, will unexpectedly arise. The key factor here is the position of Jupiter in aspect with Neptune. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and luck, being in a favorable aspect with Neptune, the planet of secrets and hidden things, may indicate the disclosure of information about previously unknown family ties. This can happen through chance encounters, archival research, or even through the work of genealogists. Neptune, as the ruler of your sign, Pisces, also plays an important role in this situation. It enhances your intuition and sensitivity to subtle energies, which can help you feel the approach of changes in your life related to inheritance. Pay attention to your dreams and premonitions during this period, they may contain valuable clues. However, it is important to remember that receiving an inheritance is not only a pleasant surprise, but also a legal responsibility. Therefore, if you encounter such a situation, it is extremely important to consult a qualified lawyer specializing in inheritance law. He will help you understand all the legal subtleties, properly draw up documents, and avoid possible disputes with other heirs. In addition, it is important to carefully consider how you will manage the funds received. You should not make spontaneous decisions, succumbing to the euphoria of unexpected wealth. Make a financial plan, determine your priorities, and consult with a financial advisor so that your investments are reliable and bring stable income in the future. Consider diversifying your assets to reduce risks and ensure your financial stability for many years to come. Investments in real estate, securities, or your own business, all this can be a reasonable solution, but only after a thorough analysis and assessment of all possible risks. Remember that sudden wealth can become both a blessing and a curse, depending on how you manage it. Be wise and prudent, and then the inheritance received will become a solid foundation for your financial well-being. But, of course, managing finances is only part of the big picture. There are other, no less important aspects that should be taken into account when planning your financial future. So, Pisces, anticipating favorable financial changes coming from June 17, 2025, let's talk about practical steps that will help you not only catch the wave of luck, but also stay on its crest. After all, even the most promising horoscope requires reasonable resource management. The first and, perhaps, most important thing is to create a financial safety net. Imagine it as a quiet harbor, where you can return in case of any unexpected events. Calculate the amount that will cover your expenses for several months, ideally, from 3 to 6, and start saving funds, even in small amounts, regularly. System and discipline are important here. Consider opening a savings account with favorable interest rates. Next, budget planning. It sounds, perhaps, boring, but this is your personal financial compass. Record all your income and expenses, analyze the structure of spending, identify black holes where money flows, and optimize them. There are many applications and programs that will help you with this. Remember, a budget is not a restriction, but a tool for achieving your financial goals. And finally, investing in the future. Saturn, as we have already said, requires a conservative approach, so it is worth starting with reliable instruments, bank deposits, federal loan bonds, OFZ, investments in real estate with moderate risk. You should not immediately rush into the pool of high yield, but also high-risk assets. Remember about diversification, distribute your investments between different asset classes to reduce the overall risk of the portfolio. Pay special attention to education and the development of professional skills. Jupiter in Taurus favors learning and expanding horizons, which, in turn, can lead to an increase in your value in the labor market and, as a result, to an increase in income. Invest in courses, trainings, seminars that will help you become a more sought-after specialist. Don't forget about insurance. Insure your life, health, property. This is another way to create a financial safety net and protect yourself from unforeseen circumstances. And remember, Pisces, your intuition is your valuable ally in financial matters. Listen to your inner voice, but do not forget to support it with analysis and calculations. Having considered the practical steps aimed at strengthening the financial foundation, we cannot ignore other, less obvious, but no less effective methods of attracting wealth. Now that we have outlined the astrological picture of favorable financial prospects for Pisces, starting June 17, 2025, it is time to turn to practical esoteric tools that can strengthen and consolidate the influx of wealth into your life. Rituals and affirmations are powerful allies on the path to financial stability and prosperity, especially for such an intuitive sign as Pisces. Visualization of success is one of the most effective ways to attract what you want. Imagine yourself surrounded by wealth, feel the joy of possessing the necessary resources, feel confident in the future. Don't just dream, but live out scenarios of financial well-being in your imagination. Do this regularly, and you will see how your dreams begin to materialize. Meditations on attracting money are another effective method. Find a quiet place where no one will disturb you, relax and focus on your breathing. Imagine golden light surrounding you, filling you with the energy of abundance. Repeat affirmations, for example, I am open to accepting wealth and prosperity in all areas of my life, money comes to me easily and freely, I am worthy of financial success. It is important to believe in what you say and feel positive emotions. In addition to visualizations and meditations, there are other esoteric practices that can strengthen your financial position. For example, creating a talisman or amulet. It can be a stone, a coin, or any other object that you associate with wealth and luck. Charge it with your energy, visualizing how it attracts money to you. You should not forget about the power of gratitude. Every day, take the time to thank the universe for all the good things you have, even for the little things. Gratitude opens the door for new opportunities and attracts even more positive events into your life. Remember the influence of Neptune, which enhances your intuition. Listen to your inner voice when making financial decisions. Perhaps it is intuition that will tell you a profitable investment or help you avoid a risky transaction. Do not ignore the signs and symbols that the universe sends you. Using affirmations related to improving communication skills can also be useful, given the influence of Jupiter in Taurus, which activates the career sector. Repeat, I communicate confidently and effectively with colleagues and partners, I easily find common ground with anyone, my words have the power of persuasion. Remember that rituals and affirmations are not a magic pill, but tools that help you tune into the wave of abundance and attract the desired results into your life. It is important to believe in their power and practice them regularly. However, even with a favorable astrological forecast and the active use of esoteric practices, obstacles may arise on the path to financial well-being. How can representatives of the sign Pisces overcome possible difficulties and make the most of their strengths to achieve financial independence? Pisces, as a sign deeply connected with intuition and empathy, often face unique financial challenges. Your sensitivity to the world around you can both help and hinder you in matters of money. Therefore, before we delve into favorable forecasts, let's consider how you, Pisces, can overcome potential financial difficulties, relying on your strengths. The first thing to realize is that your intuition is a powerful tool that can lead to unexpected sources of income. Do not ignore sudden premonitions or creative ideas that arise out of nowhere. They are often the key to new opportunities. Try keeping a diary where you will write down your intuitive insights related to finances. Analyze them, look for patterns. You may discover hidden talents or promising investment opportunities that you were previously unaware of. Creativity is another asset you have. Don't limit yourself to standard approaches to earning money. Consider opportunities related to art, design, music, or any other type of creative activity that brings you pleasure. Even if it seems like just a hobby now, it could become a profitable business. Think about how to monetize your passions. Create unique products or services that will be in demand by others. Empathy, your ability to feel the emotions of others, can be useful in service, consulting, or sales. You know how to establish trusting relationships with customers, understand their needs, and offer solutions that really help them. This creates loyalty and leads to repeat transactions. Use your empathy to create long-term partnerships and expand your network of contacts. However, it is important to remember balance. Your tendency to sympathize can make you vulnerable to scammers or unscrupulous people. Be careful when it comes to financial matters. Don't make hasty decisions, especially if you are being rushed or pressured. Always carefully check information and consult with reliable experts. To strengthen your financial stability, Pisces need to learn to set clear boundaries and stick to a financial plan. Develop a budget that takes into account your income and expenses. Set aside some money for savings and investments. Don't be afraid to seek advice from financial advisors. Remember that financial well-being is not just about money, but also about inner harmony. Take care of your emotional state, avoid stress, and find time to rest and recover. When you feel good, it is easier for you to make the right decisions and attract positive opportunities into your life. Use your strengths to overcome financial difficulties, and then you will be able to take full advantage of the favorable opportunities that open up before you. The influence of the stars indicates one interesting aspect that may require special attention. So, June 2025, with its key date of the 17th, becomes a kind of starting point for you, dear Pisces, in the field of finance. Let's summarize the opportunities and prospects that open up before you, and determine how to most effectively use this favorable period. We talked about the influence of the giant planets and their aspects, forming a unique monetary landscape. Jupiter, the benefactor of the zodiac, in the sign of Taurus, emphasizes your career sector, giving you a chance for promotion and increased income. However, this is not just a gift of fate, but the result of your work on yourself, your communication skills, and your desire for new knowledge. Use this energy to expand your professional horizons, learn, and establish useful contacts. Neptune, your ruler, enhances intuitive perception, helping you recognize profitable opportunities and avoid risky ventures. Listen to your inner voice, but don't forget about rational analysis either. Saturn, the strict teacher, in Aries, calls for financial discipline and long-term planning. Don't ignore his lessons, create a clear budget, set priorities, and stick to the intended course. Venus and Mars, in a harmonious dance, open doors for investment in areas close to your soul, art, real estate, or innovative technologies. Here, a balance between passion and calculation is important. Lunar cycles, like tides, affect your emotional state and, as a result, your financial decisions. The waxing moon is favorable for purchases and investments, the waning moon is favorable for paying off debts and selling assets. Consider these rhythms when planning your financial transactions. The possibility of winning the lottery, as we mentioned, exists due to enhanced intuition and favorable aspects. But you shouldn't bet on it as the only source of income. Consider it a nice bonus, not the foundation of your financial well-being. The probability of receiving an inheritance from distant relatives is also present, thanks to the aspect of Jupiter and Neptune. But here, too, you should not build illusions, but rather focus on creating your own capital. The main thing is to create a financial safety net, plan a budget, and invest in education. Don't forget about the power of rituals and affirmations, which can enhance the flow of prosperity. Use your intuition and creativity, but be careful with scammers, set boundaries, and stick to a financial plan. So, we have reviewed the main trends of the money horoscope for Pisces for June 2025. But what about the impact of personal relationships on your financial well-being during this period? How can partnership, both personal and business, affect your income and investment decisions?